there's so much that you miss when you have to rush. And everything has us so that it's micro this, and we've got this, you know. I remember when the internet first came out, you know, and that stuff used to download, used to take forever. And then it got faster, and then faster and faster, and then they sell us with everything on speed, and express this, and 1 hour that, and this, you know, everything on being able to get it instantly. Instant this, instant that, instant the other. And we've got all of these things that have give us faster delivery of so many goods and services in our society today, and yet we still are rushed. And that rushing produces stress in us. And God says, I'm going to put you in some situations where you can't even get out of them yourself. You're going to be wanting something to happen for you, and you're like, God, I'm ready. Come on, let's make this happen. Come on, Lord, my gift is ready. Come on, put me on the platform now. Like yesterday, do it, kapow, open. Come on, let them know that I'm here. And God will just say, you know what? Just come in, pull your shoes off, take a light, just get to know each other. Let patience have her perfect work. Just let patience have her perfect work. And you learn to actually pace yourself in life, because if you're going to make it in this life, if you are running full throttle, giving it everything that you've got, you'll run fast, but you won't run long. And if you want to be able to go the distance, you have to pace yourself. You have to pace yourself if you want to be able to go to the distance. Thing number one that is a sign of maturity is commitment to seeing things through. Number two, controlling your tongue. Number three, not complaining. Number four, patience. Number five is continued growth. Continued growth. Talks about it, Paul talks about it in 1 Corinthians 13:11. When I was a child, I spake as a child, I thought as a child, I understood as a child. But as I began to mature, I put away childish things. See, that's a continual process. I put away these childish things. The Bible, it talks about it in Hebrews chapter 6. It talks about foundational, elementary things. And it says, and not laying again these elementary things, but moving on to perfection or to maturity. Moving on to maturity. You study that out in Hebrews chapter 6, and you'll see that we are not designed to stay in the same place. We are supposed to grow. So there should be continued growth that you have. Continued growth that you have in your own life. And we're growing so that it makes us a better instrument in the hand of God. That's something that Deepak Chopra said. He said, anything that is of value in life only multiplies when it is given. Anything that is of value in life only multiplies when it is given. And you think about whatever that it is that you want to see multiplied in your life, give it away to others. Whatever you want to see multiplied, give it away to others. Just remember this, God will never trust you with what you cannot give. He'll never trust you with time if you can't give time to anything. God won't trust you with money unless you learn how to give money. He won't trust you with love unless you know how to give it. He will not trust you with listening, where somebody will listen to you unless you learn to listen. Whatever it is, God will not trust you with what you cannot give. God will not trust you with what you cannot see others with and rejoice. If you can't see somebody else with it and then rejoice with them that do rejoice, God won't trust you with it. And thirdly, God will never trust you with what you cannot manage. He will not trust you with what you cannot manage. He won't trust you with what you cannot give. And he will not trust you with what you cannot see others with and rejoice. And so if you really want God to be able to trust you with certain things, you have to be able to see somebody else with it and rejoice in the God of your salvation. Just rejoice. Rejoice in God. Just rejoice in him. Rejoice in him. What did I tell you that the very first key to cultivating growth is? Embracing change. You have to embrace change because we are constantly living in a changing world. Constantly living in a changing world. Here's number two. Hone your skills and add to your knowledge base. Hone your skills and add to your knowledge base. Hone your skills and add to your knowledge base. It's the second key to cultivating growth. Hone your skills. Whatever it is your skill, sharpen those skills and then add to your knowledge base. See, there is a definite correlation between well-designed training and results. And yet many organizations put such little emphasis on training and professional education that they often cut that at the first sign of economic trouble. But training is an investment, not an expenditure. And so you have to, what I tell people though, if you're going to invest in training, you have to make sure that the training is practical and usable. Make sure that the training is practical and usable. How can you make sure of that? Ask people who have been through the education. Ask them who've been through the training. Ask them who've been through the seminar. Ask those who've read the book. Ask them, what is the single biggest thing that you gained from this training that has influenced or affected your life? Because I see people wasting time going to somebody's seminar telling you how to make money, and they were the only ones who made money. And if you sorted through all of the hype and all of the excitement of all of the hogwash that they are putting out, trying to get you to do something that, and their greatest thing was to sucker you into getting there, you ought to stop some of the people honestly, because you can't believe the folks that are in their promotional material, because their results are not typical. And remember, they have been chosen, handpicked, and perhaps paid to endorse that particular program or whatever it is that they're doing. But find somebody who has been through the thing and see, did you tell me one thing that you got out of it that changed your life, that made an impact in you? Tell me what lasting result. I don't want people to impress me that they've been through this course and that course. What difference does it make in your life? I mean, what good is it doing for you? How is it helping you? How did it help you to develop as a person? How did it help you with your family? How did it help you to become more valuable on your job? So you have to cultivate an appetite for learning, for training, and then persevere to finish the course. Now, it may be very, very difficult, but you can do it. And here's the great thing, is that you will grow in the process. May I just tell you this? For people that feel like, well, I'm not really academically inclined. I don't fool with books and seminars and all of that. I leave those to the smart people. But let me just tell you this. Albert Einstein is considered perhaps the most influential person of the 20th century. But yet many of you may not know that he was 4 years old before he could speak. He was 7 years old before he could read. And his parents thought that he was retarded. He was advised by a teacher to drop out of school. And they told him, they said, you'll never amount to anything, Einstein. Now they did that to Albert Einstein. Isaac Newton, the scientist who invented the modern day physics, did very poorly in math. Touch your neighbor, say there's hope for you. Lucille Ball, the comedian from the I Love Lucy show, did you know that once she was dismissed from drama school for being too quiet and too shy? Did you know that Pablo Picasso was pulled out of school at the age of 10 because he was doing so poorly? And then his dad hired a tutor for him who gave up on him? Did you know that Beethoven's music teacher said of him, he said, as a composer, Beethoven is hopeless. Did you know Agatha Christie, the world's best-known mystery writer and all-time best-selling author, other than William Shakespeare, who's written of various genres, did you know that she struggled to read because of dyslexia? Did you know that Winston Churchill, the English Prime Minister, failed the 6th grade? You know what? I personally feel that schools should measure more than IQ. the intelligence quotient. I understand about IQ. I have a high enough IQ to know that what they're looking for, that it measures our ability to analyze, our ability to reason, our ability to think abstractly, and our ability to use language. That's what IQ basically measures. But you see, that's only one type of intelligence. There are other types of intelligence that are equally as important, in my opinion. For example, there's EQ, which is emotional intelligence. People with EQ, they have a lot of intuition, great deal of intuition, and they can read social situations really well. And they have an incredible ability to get along well with other people. But schools don't test for that. Also, there is something that is called spiritual intelligence, which actually represents our longing and capacity for vision, for value, and for meaning. That's SQ, spiritual quotient. It allows us to dream. And so there are some people that have high IQ, but they're not dreamers. Then there's a PQ, physical intelligence. Your body is naturally smart. You don't have to remind your heart to beat and your lungs to expand. Physical intelligence is also the ability to learn things bodily in a kinesthetic way. It's like a physical sensation, like hands-on or through touching. There are some folks that are absolutely great. They are brilliant with their hands. And so somebody might be stronger in IQ, but you might be stronger in EQ or SQ or PQ. One is not better than the other. They're just different. So the next time that somebody teases you, would you just remind them of Albert Einstein's words when he said, "Great spirits will always encounter violent opposition from mediocre minds"? Because they will. They will. And so I want you to always keep an appetite for learning, honing your skills, and developing knowledge in your own heart. Because there are so many things that we could have. I want to share this with you, and then I'm finished with by Edwin Markham. He said, "We are blind until we see in the human plan nothing is worth the making if it doesn't make the man. Why build these cities glorious if man unbuilded goes? In vain we build the work unless the builder also grows."
Thank you for watching Power for Living with Bishop Dale C. Bronner. Until next time, God bless you.